How we doing? Concert week continuing right here on Prater and the Ballgame. 208-424-9300 on the Double Tap Pub hotline. If you want to call and talk with Max Rice, we're going to give you that opportunity over the next 30 minutes. We have another beautiful in-studio guest in Max Rice joining us right now. I guess I kind of just called you beautiful, Max, but we appreciate you coming back on. What's going on? Max Rice with us.
I appreciate you having me, and I brought you a gift for our last dance here.
Max,
I brought my orange jersey. This one was kind of cursed, so I gave you this one. But
Max, did you wear that in a game?
Yeah, 2 games, I think. I think we lost both.
Which games? I need to know which games.
I think Washington State, maybe we lost that one. And that might be the only one last year.
Max, I don't even know what to say here.
I don't want it if it's been washed. Is it still smelly?
I think I washed
Prater, it kind of smells. Though.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. We're going to keep it then.
It smells like a jersey. Yeah, this is going to have a great home here in the Row Paint studio. I will not take this home. I promise you guys this right now.
Well,
I will not do it as much as I want to. I'll sleep in this tonight, Prater, but I'm not going to do that. Max Rice, appreciate the gift. A game-worn jersey now. It's KTIK's forever.
On the left, we have a new Ashton Genty one. And over here on the right, we're going to put Max Rice.
Oh, Max.
Bookend our 2 favorites right there.
Now I got to come with this question. Max, take us back to Dayton. The season ends. You guys go down to Colorado. Where was your head? What was going through? What were your emotions that night?
Yeah. First of all, it was a good battle. I think both teams really knew each other's strategies, and that's why you saw such a low-scoring game. Because then they went on to score 102 against Florida, I think it was. So it was kind of just like a rock fight. No one could really make a shot. We obviously did everything we could to win that game, and I think the season ends early for every team before they want it to. So it was a tough way for our season to end. Me and Daggy had a lot of talks that night in the hotel room, and just kind of got deep just because we wanted it so bad. You know how bad we wanted it.
Totally.
We love this community, and we really want to get that win for them. But there's a lot of bright things ahead, and Daggy's coming back with a even bigger chip on his shoulder. And I just think it was a good battle, and we kind of left it all out there. So.
Where was your head? Okay, that was the night it happened. You talked to Tyson Dagenhart, maybe a week, 10 days after it happened. The tournament's going on. You're still paying attention. I know you're a basketball junkie. How was your mind frame different 10 days after day one?
Yeah, I think 10 days later, I would probably just say, just start enjoying the games again and get back to liking it again. I kind of stepped away from basketball for a little and just took a deep breath and just try to find happiness in different places and get outside and do other things. But just looking back on the season, it was an amazing season. And once it all ends, like you realize how special it really was with some of these guys. And you see some of them go other places like Buzo going to USC, and you just appreciate all the time you had with some of these guys. And all 6 years I got to have at Boise State were honestly amazing. And I'm so happy I got to stay here my whole career.
He's Max Rice, former Boise. That's kind of weird. Former Boise State. I don't like the sound of that. Let's just say he's a Boise State basketball player who ran out of eligibility, and he's joining us right here in the KTIK studio. I want to go back to that night in the hotel room with Tyson and what you guys talk about. First of all, I think you guys room on the road together. I think you've mentioned that in the past. So that's your natural roommate. You go back to the room, you take your box of pizza, and you go back and what do you guys talk about? Kind of take us into that room and just what was that mood like? What was that conversation like?
Yeah, I think we were both beating ourselves up a little bit just because we know we could have played better. And like I said, how bad we really wanted it. So just kind of talked about what we could have done to maybe win it. And I mean, I was just trying to get his spirits up because he has another year and he has so much to look forward to. And he hasn't experienced what it feels like to really be done.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of hits you. And like, you're like, what's my purpose now? Like, what do I got to do? So I've just been trying to find hobbies like going to Topgolf, get better at my golf game.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out Topgolf. But just try to find other things to do. And he's going to have a huge year next year. And he's coming back with a giant chip on his shoulder. And now he's got another great point guard in Cardenas coming in and some other things they're working on. So a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about, because you talked about you got away from basketball for about 10 days and went outside and did some things. So you played a little golf. I mean, what else do you, I hate to say this, but you know how my mind works because it's kind of dark and negative, but I kind of envisioned, because this is how I would have handled it. I kind of envisioned that scene in The Wedding Singer, Adam Sandler, in his basement for 10 days with his buddies, like, come on, get your act together, get it going. I mean, you probably didn't spend 10 days in your bedroom in your basement, but how emotionally dark was that for you? Because I know how proud you are of your game, and I know what you're capable of doing, and I know how much that game meant to you. So that had to have been a tough pill. So just, taking us through the mindset of how you process that.
Yeah. I mean, even as a fan, I bet it was hard just because I know they wanted it too.
Yeah. The media wanted it. I wanted it.
No question.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone does. But I think it shows how much people care now and how many more fans we honestly have, and how this program's built up too. Because going to 3 NCAA tournaments in a row is a hard feat. And not a lot of programs get the opportunity to do that. So I think it's going in the right direction. And but yeah, just kind of what you talked about. It's not a great place to be. I think everyone's season, like I said, just ends earlier than they think it's supposed to end. Yeah. And you go from practicing with these guys every single day to not really having much to do. So yeah, it definitely hits you hard until a couple maybe weeks later.
Well, it's a little different for you with Boise State basketball as a now former player. You obviously still have ties to this program. You're going to be following this program more so than maybe even past players who love it as much as you do. In that case, and I think all players want to leave the program in better shape than it was when they arrived. I think that's clearly the question now for you, Max. But talk about the shape, the future, the current landscape of college basketball and where Boise State sits in there. Boise State as a men's basketball program right now, in the opinion of Max Rice.
Yeah, I think it really stands in a great place. Like with this portal and all this stuff, people really want to come play here now. Like I know Cardenas was super intrigued by just how we've been winning games and how we've kind of handled the league. We played really well in the Mountain West this past couple of years, and I think he wants to join a culture that knows how to win games. And he's really excited to just join a program like that. So I think the program's in a really good spot. And it's hard to stay consistently good. And I think that's a big thing that Leon's done so far. And I think they're going to get better this next coming year. So.
What about Buzo? You mentioned Buzo. We know that's in the news yesterday. Signed, sealed, and delivered with Eric Musselman. First of all, I know your dad has kind of a competitive relationship with Coach Musselman. A lot of respect there, but I imagine it's not his favorite human being on the world right now. So, and Buzo, that kind of caught us all off guard a little bit. I would imagine it caught you guys off guard a little bit. But back to Johnny's question, that's kind of the nature of the beast right now. So, your initial reaction and how is Boise State going to deal with that one?
Yeah, I think first of all, we haven't had a lot of players transfer away. So
exactly,
it's a weird feeling. I mean, I hung out with Buzo so much, I never heard him talk about transferring one time. So like, you go somewhere, you start shooting, and with these people, these workout guys, you start hearing stuff, and next thing you know, he's gone. So it's interesting nowadays how this works, and it happened so fast. He was in the portal, and next week he was signed. It's like a little questionably quick, but who knows? Like, it's just,
I'm with you, Max.
I mean, Wild West.
It's one thing to go shopping in the portal where people have put themselves on the shop, right? It's another thing to go shopping on somebody else's roster, on a kid who isn't in the portal. And you say, well, if you were in the portal, here's what's coming. Okay, well, I better go in the portal then. I mean, that happens far too much, I think, and what I'm hearing in the world of college basketball. And I guess just is, are you losing faith in college basketball, Max Rice?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying Musselman tampered or anything, but I'm saying people were probably in Buzo's ear and telling him, you can make this, you can do this. Yeah. And I wish the best for Buzo. I think he's going to do great, but I mean, it's a different time. So
did you hear I mean, Ashton Genty's getting roughly a $300,000 package. We heard Buzo was offered somewhere in the neighborhood of a $500,000 package, whether that means cars, cash, money, apartments. I have no idea. Did you hear any kind of figure?
I'm sure it's up there. I'm sure it's 400,000 plus is my guess. USC. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you look us into the camera? Cause this is a video segment. We're going to take a break here in a little bit, and we're going to talk about the future. You got a really exciting future, and we also have a couple of other things. But can you look in that camera and please tell us that Omar Stanley and Tyson Degenhart are going nowhere?
Oh, yeah. Those two are definitely going to stay here. So, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, but yeah, the last I've checked, it's looking really good, and hopefully a couple more additions to this coming year squad. So
Max Rice with us in studio, Prater in the ball game, 208-424-9300. If you have any well wishes, any questions you want for Max Rice, call, screen JP, get some guys on here. If they do want to talk to Max Rice, you'll have that opportunity during our next segment where we're going to talk. What is next for Max Rice? Has he hired an agent? What's the selection process right when it comes to turning pro? Plenty of stuff to get to. Max Rice in studio. We come back on Prater in the ballgame.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
Report brought to you by Western States Cat, where they now offer scheduled or emergency
Sports Talk with Prater and the Ballgame. Prater loves the NHL, and Johnny, if he doesn't have a ball, he's moving on. Sports Radio, The Ticket.
Hey, we got some killer, actually, let me call them sweet auction items at KTIK.com right now. Epoxy floors for your garage, kitchen remodels, Hell's Canyon rafting trips. Go to KTIK.com. Max Rice in studio, Prater and the Ballgame, and this is crazy, but during the commercial break on Twitter, Max's his former teammate Roddy Anderson just thanked Bronco Nation as of right now, or as of 6 minutes ago. Roddy Anderson, Max, is in the portal. Buzo, now Roddy. Prater, I mean, I got to ask, Max, you just lost the point guard. What's going on?
Yeah, that's the Prater jinx right there.
Blame Prater?
Well, it's Prater's fault.
We did bring it up. We brought it up on the show last Friday because he had scrubbed all of his social media accounts of all Boise State pictures and all words that had to do with Boise. And this was a couple of days after they brought in Alvaro. So I just guessed because that's what I do best. I just assumed, and that was next. We talked about it real briefly on Friday. That's why when I asked you if Stanley and Degenhardt are coming back, I didn't throw Roddy in there, but I guess I didn't understand the timing it was about to happen. So you're a little caught off guard, and you thought he might be sticking around, but this guy obviously wants to go look and play, and he sees kind of the future.
No, yeah, and I'm in the loop in a lot of things, but not really when people are deciding to transfer, just because I know the head coach a little bit.
And they like to keep that to themselves.
Exactly. They don't want me telling them. I mean, I probably wouldn't tell them, but
yeah,
it's definitely surprising. So,
but you understand, I mean, I would imagine this is just like everybody else, looking for some playing time, right?
Well, yeah, and they brought in another point guard.
Yeah.
I think, maybe some money, playing time. Who knows? But I know he loved Boise, and he did a lot for us last year. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Again, news, Roddy Anderson, Boise State now in the transfer portal. 208-424-9300. I know many of you have texted the show. They're saying how much they love you, Max, and all this stuff. If anybody wants to call and asks Max Rice a question, now would be the time. 208-424-9300. Go ahead and bug JP. Max, I want to talk about what's next. What is the process when one college career ends and you want to keep playing professionally? What are those boxes you needed to check?
Yeah, so I started off by signing an agent. His name is Jeff Potter, out of Potter Sports Groups. He owned a G League team called the Mad Ants a couple of years ago and sold them to the Pacers, I think. Now he has about 30 players right now under his sports agency. So I signed with him. He's going to try to get me in all sorts of things like tryout or the summer league, workouts. He's going to fly me up to somewhere in Indiana, I think Fort Worth, Indiana.
Fort Wayne,
Indiana, for a month, get some workouts in there, and just try to improve my game before the next steps of my professional career.
You know, those 10 days you were kind of making that transition in your mental, in your mind. You know, I'm assuming you're back in the gym, you working out, are you getting ready for that process? What are you doing right now? And then what's the immediate next thing? Do you have to wait through the draft process, whether it's the G League or the NBA? How does that work?
Yeah, I think there's a little downtime for the playoffs and just for players to regroup a little bit. Boise State's nice enough to let me use their gyms here and there. I did enough.
You have played more basketball games than anybody in the history of Boise State, so I think a key would be nice.
Or the Mountain West too.
The Mountain West as well.
That's nice of them to let me use their gym a little bit.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, and then just getting stronger. Try to get more physically strong, just because at the next level, everybody's grown men.
Yeah.
They probably have 20 pounds on me, or college athletes, just because they've had time to make their bodies bigger. So. Just getting bigger, stronger, faster, and just trying to improve my game, watch film, and take the next steps from there. So, are
you one of those kind of guys that can build your body, or are you one of those guys that kind of struggles to put on weight?
I could definitely put on weight. I try to stay like kind of lean, just so you can get up and down the court. Because I was sitting at like probably 195 for the season, and I'm probably like 205 around there
right now.
Yeah, I'm bulking season right now.
You're a big dude, man.
Yeah.
People don't realize how tall. I mean, Prater's a very tall man. He's a big man. You're taller than Prater right there. Like, and I never really associate it that way. But when we get you in studio and see how big you are next to Max Rice is a very large dude.
I do get that like a lot in person. Like, you're way people are like, "You're much taller than I originally thought."
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
You're
probably
6.
just 'cause,
You're legit 6'5", right?
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5". But when you're out there with a bunch of 7-footers, 6'11"
Yeah.
guys, like you
Yeah.
just
Hey,
people think.
how choosy can you be here if it is, say, overseas and maybe there's a Far East school, like you said before? You said, man, I just want to play in Shanghai and no one will know who the hell I am. I don't have to worry about all that other crap that I put up with for 6 years. I just want to hoop. How selective can you be if this is an overseas operation? You don't want to play for the Timbuktu Matadors, right?
Yeah, well, I told Potter, I was like, I'd sacrifice getting more money for a nicer place because I know I'm gonna have a lot of people visiting me. So I mean, I'll take a pay cut to go live somewhere nice and go see the world and hopefully bring my girlfriend along with me. Just because I know if it's a nice place and I'm enjoying like how I'm living, then it's worth it to me to travel the world and play basketball.
Personally and maybe professionally, I don't know if it's the same answer or different answers, but what do you prefer in terms of the route? Would you prefer to go to the G League and grind for a couple of years for whatever $85,000 it is or whatever it is? Or would you prefer to go overseas, probably break that seal with the NBA, but experience life and probably make a little bit of money?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think honestly, wherever me and my agent decide is best for me is, I think, where I'll go, just because I think the G League could be a good option for me just because I play smart and I think shooters are valuable and they could be really valuable in the G League along with overseas as well. So just kind of weighing out the options and seeing like what's best for my future and just how I can succeed. So
208-424-9300 if you want to call in and ask Max a question, just like Prater and I are doing right now. We'll give you that opportunity. Call that number and JP will put you in line. NIL advice. If Max Rice was going to give NIL advice to a young Boise State student athlete seeking NIL fortunes and riches and cash, man, now that if you could do that over, or what advice would you give that young player when he says, Max, how do I maximize on being a big deal in this town?
Yeah, I think just what I did was the summer before this last year, I went and at like restaurants I ate at, for example, like the Melts deal I went and ate there the summer before and I was like, oh, I really like this food. So I got their card and I texted the owner and I said, I really love the food here. I'd love to represent your brand. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. So we met up and did that. So I think just being genuine with people and telling them like you enjoy like what they're doing and you'd like to represent them. And I did that with a bunch of different brands and it was successful for me. And I thought the more people I talk to, the better I'll do and the more money I'll get and it'll be beneficial for both parties. So yeah, I just think being genuine and representing companies and businesses that you align with their values.
All of a sudden, I'm thinking about food, and that doesn't take much to trigger me about food. But we talked about the Ashton Genty jersey and the jersey that you just brought us. Again, thank you very much. Last week, we had Genty in this exact same chair, and we were having some fun with his sandwich from the James, a turkey provolone with some sriracha mayo. And I put it out there on Twitter, and your boys at Melts actually responded and said, hey, don't forget the Max Rice. And they put a picture out there. Who has the better sandwich, Ashton Genty or Max Rice?
Well, obviously I got to go with my own sandwich, but
Which is what?
Oh, it's called the number 12. It's chicken, spinach. I actually ate it today. Jalapenos, provolone cheese, I think, and maybe like some chipotle mayo or something.
Sounds
like
good.
that. But
did you go in and kind of design that one yourself with the things you like?
I did exactly how I like it. And it comes with some chips and a good drink. And yeah, I'm still shouting out Melts to this day.
Hey, you're a Melts man. Yeah. You're a company guy. Max Rice in studio with us. Let's check in with the Double Tap Pub hotline. Tracy is holding, and Tracy, you are first up. Tracy, you got Max Rice here on KTIK. Go for it. What do you want to ask him?
I want to know if Max sees himself as a coach in the future.
Yes, I do. That's a good question. After I'm done playing professionally, wherever I go, I definitely want to get on staff with either Coach Few, Coach Lloyd, probably not
Coach
Musselman. Yeah, maybe Leon in the future. I want to go to Leon
Musselman?
after. No, I said probably not Musselman at the moment.
Your dad might disown you if you do that. Don't do that. I don't know about your mom, but your dad might.
Yeah, I want to get away. I want to start my coaching career somewhere other than Boise, and then maybe here after that. So, but definitely want to get into coaching after I'm done playing basketball.
Appreciate the call, Tracy. Good stuff. Max still has plans to be a coach after a player. Jordan, welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. You got yourself Max Rice. Jordan, what do you want to ask him?
What's up, boys? 2 quick questions. First of all, how does it feel to go out with a winning record against Utah State? And then second of all, what's a under-the-radar favorite game of yours from your career and why?
Good question, Jordan. It feels great, honestly. I got to be careful what I say still because I could get a lot of DMs for depending on how I respond to the Utah State one. But, we had some great battles with them, and it's an honor to, I guess, have a winning record. How do you even know that? It's crazy. And then favorite game all time was probably my first senior night against San Diego State. Sold out crowd. I think I went on a little run at the end there.
Yeah.
12 consecutive points.
Yeah.
By number 12.
But it was fun, and I'll always remember that game because it was with Shaver and Najee. And I probably should have just retired after that one because that was kind of the high point of my career.
208-424-9300. Anything else for Max Rice? Go ahead, give us a call. We got a few minutes left, so you'd have to call and get in on this pretty darn quick. So Max, the plan to play pro ball, you have an agent. What is the workout regime like when you're trying to play pro ball? I know you got your girlfriend too, so you're trying to coordinate being a real dude, a grown up now who's getting ready to play pro ball. I mean, are you up at 5 a.m, drinking raw eggs and running and shooting 1,000 jumpers?
Oh, I should start doing that. Huh? But the biggest difference is probably you don't have people texting you like, hey, you need to be in here. We're lifting as a team, at 10 a.m. and then we're shooting as a team. You're kind of your own person now. You're kind of thrown out to the professional world where you have to motivate yourself in ways and find ways to get better without people kind of behind you helping you. So I've been trying to find ways to do that myself. I know it's only been a month or month and a half since our last game. So I'm still working on getting more motivated, but definitely getting shots up, getting bigger, stronger, faster, all the things I said, and just getting ready for this next stage of my life.
All right, Coach Rice, let's send a message to that other Coach Rice dude down the street. And just in terms of next year, and here we are again, the continued growth with this program and still chasing that NCAA carrot. Leon doesn't care about that right now. He's trying to rebuild the roster, and he's off to a good start with Alvaro. Obviously, Buzo is a big one. I'm not sure Sir Roddy's a big one, but what does this roster need in order to get over that hump, to get into March, to make a difference in March? If you were trying to put this roster together, what's Leon chasing right now?
If I was him, I would try to get probably like an athletic big to help Deggy and Omar down there.
Like a Cam Martin type? Would that kind of guy, if Cam Martin was back, would he fit that role? Or are you looking for something a little different?
I would classify him as a veteran big.
Okay.
I would say I would want more of an athletic, maybe. Cam worked for last year, but I'm just saying maybe for next year's team, more of an athletic big, knowing Cardenas plays really well with pick and roll lobs.
Okay.
So I would try to get an athletic big, and then I would try to get probably a veteran wing that can shoot. Losing me and Buzo on the wing, that's a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
I know they got a lot of good young guys coming in, like Peanut, Pearson Carmichael, and Julian Bowie, but those guys are young, and it's hard to adjust to kind of the strength of college basketball as well. So getting a veteran wing would help the team a lot, and just go from there, honestly.
Max, what are your expectations next year for Chris Lockett? You redshirted him this year. Maybe looking back on that, he could have played or helped. Just what do you think the future is there with Chris Lockett?
Yeah, good question. He guarded me every day in practice, and he was one of the more physical guys I've played against in my 6 years. Like he would get into you and play hard every day in practice, and he was a pester for me. So
really,
he's going to be a great defender and a really good player, honestly. I'm a little worried about his foul trouble. He could get into foul trouble, we'll see what happens.
All right, let's take one more. 208-424-9300. Gary is holding on the Double Tap Pub hotline. Gary, you got yourself Max Rice. Go for it.
Yeah, Max. I was listening to you about your, NIL, how you had to go out pounding the street and trying to get, represent people. Do you see in the future where the NCAA or the might put in where the student athletes can get a representative or an agent, not for doing contracts for pro or nothing, but representing them in the INL process, and the schools don't have to mess with it. You know, you would hire him and go out and do your thing for you. You see any future in that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Gary. I think so. We have a guy that does it for our entire team. His name's Mike Walsh, or at least he used to do it for us. But I mean, I like your idea better just because Walsh has so many teams to worry about and so many just things to worry about that sometimes it's hard to get all those little deals that could help individual players. Like I probably got 3 or 4 more just because I was being aggressive. So having your own NIL guy work for you might be beneficial, but it might take away from your earnings as well. So,
but you can do that though, right? You can go off and hire an NIL agent as a college kid right now, right? I mean, I know you can. I mean, some of these kids, yeah, some of these kids can to broker these deals. And the NCAA just passed legislation, I think it was yesterday, putting more power back into the athletic departments in terms of managing the NIL, which is something Jeremiah Dickey wanted when he was in our studio here a few weeks ago. Maybe it's been a month or so ago now. So, yeah, you can go off and get your own guy, and they're trying to get you and athletic departments more help as NIL becomes more and more, because this sucker's not going away, is it?
No, I doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it got pulled back a little bit, just with how much money these players are really getting. It's getting pretty crazy. Not that they don't deserve it, but it's like an open market. People are going for hundreds and thousands of dollars.
It's crazy. Max, we're going to get you out of here. We want you to keep us posted every step of your professional career, of your coaching career, heck, of Saturday night when you're hanging out downtown. Keep us posted. We'll keep bringing you back on this show. Appreciate the autographed, game-worn Max Rice jersey that will live in this studio forever. You've always been such a good sport on our shows, even when Prater's ripped you or talked about your family and all that stuff. You've always came on and still been really cool with us, man.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I've always appreciated all the support you guys have given me over this decade. So it's been awesome. I appreciate it.
Despite all the jabs over the last 6 years, I did on your very last day after that loss, man. We had a weeping moment on this show, and we desperately miss you already.
I appreciate that, guys. I'll miss you.
We do. There's Max Rice, and that's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. Prater in the ball game.
It's concert week. Call 208-424-9300 to win tickets.